So let's jump into a Patreon listener question. Once again, if you are interested in asking a question on the Transformer Slag podcast, check out the description below under the support the Patreon or support the podcast and be a part of the crew. We have a whole bunch of benefits. We have a Discord. We have a whole bunch of hangouts. And of course, just recently, I shipped out a little gift for all the $5 tier Patreons in the mail, so that should be reaching you shortly, hopefully as quick as possible with the craziness going on in the world and how all the mail is getting a little backed up. So I hope that will reach you quickly, a nice little gift for everyone that has supported us throughout the years. And the question that we have today is a really interesting one, and I like it because I actually had to kind of stop and think about it because I had so many answers. And I'm going to probably have like 2 or 3 that I really want to, and so it can't be just one answer with this question. But what that question comes from the Gray Skull, longtime patron of the podcast. Thank you for all your love and support. And he asks, what are some unreleased Transformers you would have liked to see get released? Like any that have reached the prototype or final stage and never got packaged or put into stores. What would you consider some, and he uses air quotes here, personal faves? Okay, so first off, to jump in, I'm not going to count like concept stuff like that, like concept sketches and stuff that would have been, because when you go down that rabbit hole, man, there is a lot of crazy stuff. There is a lot of crazy stuff when you get into Transformer concepts, and a lot of like stuff that, I mean, in all honesty, it would be a podcast segment in itself, because there's so much cool things that we just, was written on paper and went, hey, wouldn't you like a vampire Transformer that turns into a bat? Like there was like the Universal Monsters, so many crazy stuff. So that'll be a separate thing. What I think he's more referring to, and he kind of says it there, is stuff that reached that hard copy prototype stage, and sometimes even like practically a test shot and final product, and was, I mean, in all honesty, was probably ready for packaging and to show up in Toys R Us or whatever back in the day. So let's jump into that. I'm going to go with the first most obvious one, and I've talked about it in the past, either in person with people at the bar, at whether it be BotCon or TFCon. But the one that I always want, and I still feel there still is a chance for it, is the classic original Generation 1 Unicron 1986 prototype. And there was 2 versions. There was the traditional one that I'm referring to, which is like the light blue and yellow. It's the one that was seen at BotCon 97, was seen at TFCon twice. And then there's the green one that had the little, I guess we'll call it the moon orbiting gimmick. I want leaning more towards that blue one. It's the classic one that we all remember. This figure, for some reason, just didn't get released, whether it be that it was a price point that didn't exist at the time, because keep in mind, Fortress Maximus wouldn't come out until a year and a half later after the 86 movie, so maybe that was the reason. So it was too big and it was too much of a risk. Maybe it was because it didn't pass a drop test, maybe because it had to have a voice box in it. And, again, up to that point with Transformers, there was no toys that really had a voice box. That's something that really would come in later in the lifespan of the line with that of Generation 2. So to have that too, also something that's never been done really with the brand at that point. Maybe because the 86 movie just didn't do well. And they just felt like, why would we invest all this time and money into a huge price point product? And the stores would probably not want to carry it. It could be one of so many things. And granted, yes, we're talking about around the same time you had the USS Flag, which was this like couch-sized aircraft carrier for G.I. Joe. But who knows? There's so many different things, and it's something that I would have loved to sit down with a Hasbro representative from back in the day to find out why that just never got the trigger pulled. But I would love for it to come out today. I feel that there is a market for it today. You could practically slap it in that Generation 1 Encores line, and for Japan at least, and then just sell it at like a $150 price point. Like, look, in all honesty, there's a lot less pieces on this thing. It's a lot more simple. I know that the RDR, the development and design is all there because that toy got as far as patenting. Like, everything was there ready for it to go, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason. So I would just love to have that iconic piece, and I know a lot of Generation 1 collectors would love to just have it to put it in their G1 display. Just to have it in their 86 display would be so amazing, and I would love to have that. It'd be so cool. Is it ugly? Of course it is, but it has its charm. It's a timepiece. It's a demake. It's something that, yeah, we got like our HasLab Unicron coming, but this is something I would have wanted just as much as the HasLab Unicron because of how historic it is in Transformers history. And I mean, the way I see it, they could release it in Japan, and then if they're, get Sakamoto to do like an exclusive manga pack in for it, to kind of justify why he has that weird shape. They did that in the past. Yuki Oshima, who did Kissplay, he also like worked in that design with one of the Teletran Go-Go 25 mangas, I believe it was called. With the Rodimus Primus repaint. Like, there's a whole bunch of interesting history with that design, but I would love to just see it get a mass release. And then, hey, if somehow the market exists also for America, for it to end up in the Walmart Generation 1 reissue line, that's more of a stretch, because I mean, for something of that price point for the Walmart exclusives, I don't know. I mean, if Toys R Us still was a thing in the States, I think it would be more realistic, and if Toys R Us had the Walmart reissues as part of their lineup. But, again, that's not possible. So, but yeah, that's definitely one of them, for sure. For sure. That was just something, that always caught my fancy. There was a lot of also cool stuff that was coming out of Generation 2 that we never got them mass released. We would see them in catalogs. Like, a lot of them were straight up repaints of stuff. But they were always so interesting repaints, like Laser Cycle Jazz and Soundwave. Like, I loved those. I thought those were so cool, especially the Laser Cycle Jazz. Just looks really awesome. Never got those repaints. What was another one? Like, again, we actually talked about on the podcast not too long ago, all the Seeker Jets that had all those crazy repaints like Blackout and Sandstorm. Like, just so many of those. The Watermelon Mirage, I love that one, and the fact that TFCon got the third-party one as an exclusive with those colors, really love that. Again, I'm a bit of a sucker for Formula 1 Transformers, always kind of is my thing. And then when you go into like even Beast Wars, like it leans back again to the Beast Wars Neo Unicron. I would love to have that. Again, historical piece, something that just never happened. That one's not as large too, so it's a lot more realistic for like a price point. And it reached quite the far along in the prototype stage. And there even was one point a third-party company was thinking of just backwards engineering and doing it itself, and it just never came to be. So that's another one, too, that I would have loved to see. A lot of those Transtech designs that had, like, that got as far as prototypes, like Optimus Prime, Cheetor, and Starscream, would have loved to get my hands on some of those. Just a lot of really wacky stuff. And I think one of the last ones was, I'm a big fan of the Alternators line, and I know that at BotCon 2009, when they did it near Rhode Island, they went to the head office for one of your extra bonuses. I didn't get to do that. And they had on display some of the Alternator stuff at the time that's, never happened. And one of them was like a Porsche Boxster 986, I think it was. I think it was a 986 Porsche Boxster. Because I know it didn't have the 911 headlights on the front, but of Jazz, and it was slightly smaller. It looked really good. They had the deluxe size Subaru Impreza. Love the Subaru Impreza, so to get a deluxe size smokescreen of a Subaru Impreza would have been really cool. Just looked really awesome. They had so many cool stuff on display. And then when you go later, even with the Binaltech and Alternator stuff, they were going to do a Black Arachnia using the S2000, the Black Widow, as she was called in Japan. They were going to do like a repaint like that. Never happened. A lot of cool stuff. That I would have really dug. Like even like when you lean to like, let's say, talking about Fembots, like the unreleased RC prototype, even though that one was really, really in the early stages of resin, never got released, would be cool to kind of get like a throwback version of that. And I know, TFCon was going to have an exclusive of that in the USA, but that was a third-party one based off of a more masterpiece design. I'm saying something that's more to that classic Generation 1 limited articulation thing. And I know that also I think Titanium's was going to have an RC too, and that one never happened. But there's a lot of cool ones. I know I could keep going. I think I'll mention one more, and it's one that it was going to happen, it didn't happen, and then when BotCon still was a thing and I was working with them, I wanted to make it happen through there, and then BotCon didn't happen, so it was like it got canceled twice. And it was that of the character of Wasp in Animated. And there was a point with animated that Wasp was going to get an official release in retail called Fugitive Wasp, and it was going to be a straight-up repaint of the original Wave 1 Deluxe Bumblebee. Didn't have a new head sculpt and everything. My plan was, if BotCon would have went into its 2017 year, we would have had a animated box set. I talked about it previously on podcasts and stuff like that, but at least we would have, the head, just the little horns of the Bumblebee shaved off, or a new head sculpt completely, and have a Wasp Bumblebee. Although personally, I was hoping to use the Hydra Dive Bumblebee mold, because it just was a nicer mold in general, and it would give people an opportunity to get that design instead of the Wave 1 version. And then of course we would then use that again to do Cliff Jumper and stuff like that. There was a lot of animated prototypes that didn't happen. There was like the Toxic Oil Slick, there was that repaint of Blur, I think it was called Vortex Blur, the repaint of Swindle, which was Mercenary Swindle. There was the Goldfire Grimlock. There was the Electromagnetic Soundwave or whatever there, which was done in white. And of course the Hotshot and the Marauder Megatron, which were also two, like, oh my god, those are probably grails for a lot of people if you look back. But it would have been really cool stuff. Like, I could go on and on. There's so many. I know that I actually bought some unreleased Transformers. I have a thing with kind of spending money on prototypes. And I got 2 Transformer 2007 movie Target exclusive Scouts. I got Reverb, and I think it was Blackout was the other one's official name. It was 2 repaints of the Energon combiners, and I managed to get just their what was going to be Target exclusive repaints, and in the end it just never happened. And got my hand on those, luckily. They were supposedly like a limited number of samples of them got out there, and so I managed to get my hands on them. I think it was Reverb and Gun Barrel, I think it was. And Backtrack was the other one that they had, and I couldn't get my hands on that one because I got outbidded on that. The whole bunch of them popped up on eBay, and I still look to this day to pick up some nice prototypes. But yeah, those are just some. I mean, if I had to like pick one, it's got to be that original G1 Unicron. It's just so iconic, and not only is it something that I selfishly want, but I feel from a business standpoint would be out of all the ones that I said I loved here, it's the one that I feel would make the most sense and make money today, especially like when you have like the 86 movie anniversary coming next year. That would be a really quaint, wacky product to put out there. But again, Walmart, their shelving space, I don't think it would work today. So, that's what also makes me like, take that back from a business standpoint and the finance of it. But I mean, I still would dig it. Hey, Takara, maybe you could do it next year. Do some kind of celebration, Transformers Encore, Generation 1 Unicron. I know some people would dig it. I know I would. But again, that's some of my answers. Let me know what your answers are too. I'm kind of curious what some people might be interested in. There's a lot of crazy stuff that is out there. But definitely let me know what you think. And thanks again for the listener question, The Gray Skull.